Welcome to Bogside Chats. We're talking everything DFK and keeping it casual. I am Franz. I'm here with Guy Kid. Maddie is running a little bit late, but is going to be hopping on as well. We got the energy. Guy, how you doing?
Doing well. 8 minutes late, but we'll make up for it with the energy and this wonderful content we've got in store for everyone today.
Yeah, we lost track of time. We were like just in here chilling, talking DFK
Just chatting
on our own.
Chatting DFK on our own off stream.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, May's texting me. He's going to be on shortly, but got some fun things to cover. Guy, how you been doing? How's your DFK dream going?
DFK dream's been good. I got DFK helper up and running, which has been great. Did my first auto summons over the last week, so that was a lot of fun.
Oh, you're using that feature?
Yeah, right. Logging in and seeing 2 crystals there just waiting to be opened was a lot of fun.
Oh, so it's summons for you. I've never used it. It's summons for you, but it doesn't open them.
Bingo.
I like that a lot.
Yep.
Is that how the hatching works too?
I'm curious. Well, I don't know. Well, Mythic Squad does boons anyway, so it doesn't even matter for them. But I have a feeling the hatching would be the same way.
You don't do the boon?
I do not.
I feel like everyone does the boon.
Depends on
they made it cool, but everybody does it. Yeah.
Depends on the cost of tiers, right? That's where your EV comes in.
No, the cost of tiers is the same. It's
the relative cost of the egg. If tiers are 70% of the cost of the egg, it's more relevant.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, I wasn't ready to host. I thought Maddie would be here, but I'm just taking a first look at the agenda we got here. So, Guy, do you have your screen up?
I can see if I can pull up the Workhorse article too.
Yeah, so I guess that's where we wanted to start. Not just with the thief drop, which is very cool in its own right, but just the inventory stuff and the sabotage mechanic and the way, I don't know, is it fair to say things are starting to take shape a little bit more?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So for anyone who didn't see or didn't read it, we have some news on the actual inventory, and I don't have it up either, so I'm about to start talking about it. Essentially, there we go. We have a battle inventory, which is going to be a larger kind of grouping of items that you can bring with you. He says there, think about it like a wagon. So you're carrying that with you. But then when you go into a battle, you can only take a certain amount of your battle budget with you. Is that, I get the word right there, battle budget?
Yeah, and then of that battle budget, there's so much you can use per match. So you've got your battle inventory, which is everything, and then your battle budget that you can use per match.
Right. So, and it looks like it's going to have a weight system. I thought that was pretty important, right? Because when you look at the items, the full health potion specifically, and the full mana potion for that matter, they do say the words full on it, right? So you're thinking, and I believe it might say that it's for your whole team. So if the only kind of differentiator with it was that it costs a little bit more resource-wise to brew one, that wouldn't be, from like a balance standpoint, that wouldn't be great.
Everyone would just be bringing in max HP potions for all their inventory slots. This allows for more player dynamics and more strategy to go into what's going to be in your inventory. And you can even play that off of your hero genes that you have in place too. Maybe you've got heroes that are resistant to poison or resistant to blind, so you don't need those blindness potions in your inventory, but just pairing those off with those other things that you might have to be aware of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I would hope or think that the more specific potions, like your anti-blindness, your anti-silence, whatever, would be kind of the cheapest weight-wise, right? The lightest items, right? So that they're not taking up a large portion of your inventory, because they're so situational. You might run into a team that doesn't have a thief, doesn't have a ninja, doesn't have, anyone else that's going to poison, and it's a slot now that you've used.
Yeah, and especially once we go down the PvP route and the tournament route, you might even be able to shift your your battle budget based on your opponent that you're going up against. Of maybe you've got an opponent that's got a toxic focus, has a poison focus, or has a blind focus, that you want to be prepared to be able to counter that with your inventory.
Yes, and I mean, I think that's something I'm pretty excited for, like the way this would work in a tournament, right? Like, because then my mind starts going to like, well, are our opponent's going to have the same team? Like, is it going to be the same lineup that you enter? Because then that's pretty cool. Like, we have a small community at this point. Hopefully, it'll grow. But like, we kind of know each other pretty well and know what other heroes are good that our friends have. Especially through Fight Club, we've seen them, so you can prepare then when you throw items into the mix.
And build those counter builds are going to start to take focus and start to emerge, which will be cool.
Yeah. And then also the idea of, and this is something we were talking about before, right? Your battle inventory, the larger kind of grouping of items. If that, say a tournament goes, 7 rounds to win it, right? If you were going to win the whole thing, you would have to play 7 matches, but your whole inventory only holds, enough potions for 5 total matches, right? As far as what you can carry in. Then you're thinking about it in the early rounds, hey, do I really want to use this potion here? Can I get by without it? Because I'm going to need to save somewhere along the way.
And you could have that David versus Goliath match that David is like, you know what? The pouring killers of the world want to dethrone the kings. And they'll use their entire inventory in one single match, well, as much as they can through the battle budget to try to get to that second round, whereas the favored person's trying not to use any of their items, which could cause an interesting dynamic in tournaments.
Right. When does that kind of go a little bit too far, and the whale is then sitting there saying, oh shit, I should have been using these potions earlier, now this is unsalvageable, I'm going to be out of the tournament.
Right.
I mean, there's never really, especially if you're going up against, say a King Baka or someone like that, like there's no reason to leave any items on your, on your belt, so to speak. I don't know how to phrase that. In your
exactly.
Storage.
Right. Let it all fly.
Right. But then the other side of that, right, is these all cost money, like actual real life money, crypto, magical internet tokens, but still money.
Still money nonetheless.
So it's like, what kind of, for say a tournament scenario, or even for just playing PvP in general, like what kind of budget are you putting into that, right?
Right.
Because now,
are you expected to use up your entire battle inventory every single tournament? What's that going to do to the player economy, the item economy as a whole as well too? It'll be really interesting to see how all that shapes up.
Yes, it will. And I know we said we were going to talk about the tavern a little bit later, but I've been buying up floor heroes for that exact reason. If you don't think that item prices are going to go up based on like news like this and when this gets implemented, I mean, not financial advice, but I sure do.
Right. And I think the only way this game economy
sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Right in the middle of a perfect delivery. Thanks,
excuse me. I'm so sorry.
What's happening?
We finally got Guy talking. And
I know.
You cut him right off.
Right.
I apologize. I apologize for being late. And I
later.
missed the pre-show meeting, so I'm going to be terrible tonight. So keep going, Guy. Say what you're saying.
Uh-oh.
He's totally lost it now.
I've lost it. It's gone. So we're talking battle inventory. We're talking player dynamics. We're talking heroes. The only way for DFK as a macro setting, Maddie, your beard is amazing today.
Oh, thank you.
To know that. But the only way the macro economy will work is if there's gatherers and then there's spenders too. So if PvP is going to be a net negative spend on the item economy, that's going to create some really interesting dynamics within the overall ecosystem of the game. To your point, Franz, you want to have enough farmers in your hero wallet to be able to support your PvP team.
Right. And I definitely want to get Maddie's take on that because I'm sure he's, really wants to tell us. But before he does, now, see, I ran myself off my train of thought. Oh, the idea that, the feedback loop of this game, right, has never been complete. We've had one side of it and you're gathering all these items, and the only way you're making money is from selling. If now there's somewhere where you can use those items, now it's kind of leveling what you earn like by doing your quests and what you spend by PvP, and then potentially what you win from PvP. Hey, Maddie.
Are you outside? Like, are you like, what is that bright light that you have?
I changed my lighting situation, and I should have prepped it beforehand, but
it's all good.
I'm too bright right now. My forehead is just like a. I think. Did you see the key thing in the article? Did you guys talk about the Workhorse article yet?
So we started talking about inventory. We haven't gone on to sabotage really at all or anything else.
Well, sabotage isn't even really. I think the biggest little nugget from it is at the very, very end.
We haven't gotten there yet, but
where
you want to tell people what they're seeing?
What items can be used in a turn before the action, which I think makes the mana potion insanely valuable. Because think about that, you could pop a mana potion and then do the spell when previously, you'd think you'd have to use a whole turn to get that mana potion in. Now that you can do the mana potion and cast a spell on the same turn, I think means mana potions are going to be some percentage of my inventory, 25, maybe even more, because I think that's going to be so vital.
Were they not going to be previously?
I mean, if it was a whole turn, I think I'd rather build my team
a whole
around.
Turn, as if a half a turn was an option. It's one hero's turn, right? Would have been.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, I think I would rather have. It wouldn't have been 25% of my inventory. No. If it took a whole turn to consume a mana potion and that was your entire hero's turn, I'm not going to use them as often. But now that they're a free kind of gimme, I'm going to use them more often. And also, too, I think with sabotage, and we can get to what sabotage means, I'm gonna need redundancy, which is a big guy kid word. I'm gonna want to have multiples of any of these because maybe not the items can't. I don't fully understand sabotage if it's taking away the budget or the actual inventory. But I feel like I'm gonna want to
choose what you sabotage, or is it going to be a certain percentage?
I think it's just the budget, so I don't think you actually lose any items from.
Well, so then what would be the point of it?
You can't. If you're just fucking with their budget.
Because it diminishes what they can use the entire match.
So I see what you're saying.
If your budget goes from 10 to 7, and now your budget goes from 7 to 4.
Yeah.
So then I would assume that's what it would be. Is that you're limiting their space, but they still pick what they can use. You're not actually taking any items.
Right.
Which it would be cool if you can steal them onto your inventory.
That'd be wild. And he mentioned a couple times in this article how he's like, there's going to be more classes that do other things with this. So, this isn't, thief and the thief moves are not exclusively the only way we're going to have sabotage. So,
yeah. What else do you guys see that on? I see it on definitely Ninja.
Potentially. Bard, potentially.
Bard could be interesting in the sense of like, will Bard be more of dealing with your opponents or boosting your teammates?
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, I can see those being two different tracks.
That's true.
The trickster bard versus the team booster bard, But yeah, I think I personally had a lot of materials laying around and I just printed out a couple, I think I did like 50 mana potions and 50 health potions just real quick, just because I had them and I could do it with what I had. But I think getting a stockpile of those potions is going to be crazy valuable.
Yeah, I mean the stockpile idea, right? It's going to be valuable if you want to sell them.
I mean,
if that's your goal.
No, but having them for
going
PvP,
back to the jobbers, questers type idea, if you have enough and you're going to continue, like even say you stockpile 200, that's going to last you only so long.
That's true. Yeah.
You still need to get more, and that's why I think. Like right now, I sold all my items yesterday to get more questers.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Are you, Guy, we're looking at your liquidity pools. Are you moving stuff from the liquidity
I was curious.
pools?
Draining your gardens on stream?
Because to be honest right now, I'd rather hold my items than put them in a liquidity pool right now. I don't know.
I took all of mine out to sell them.
And I created 10 health potions a while ago and threw them in an LP to see like, hey, is there any level of traction in here?
And it's
And
9 now.
there's been more people selling health potions than buying. I've
Yeah.
gone from 10 to 9, so there's still very little volume in there.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of that could be us with Fight Club, but
Right.
when people use them, we sell them and put them in the prize pool. So, yeah, but yeah, I think the value of these items, however we want to play it, right? Because we've mentioned some different strategies here. It's the value seems like the rate increase, and they can't go down any further, right?
Right.
I mean, it's been a steady decline on item prices for the past year and a half because, you know, there was a spike. Stamina potions definitely helped, but all these other potions with the alchemist didn't really have a purpose until seemingly right now.
Other than
Great.
other than some of them making stones, but
Making stones, right? Yeah, that's true. I shouldn't discount that.
did you guys go through the what battle inventory versus battle budget means?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I think very interesting that the conversation around this has been. And Franz, you've been talking a lot about it in PvP, the Discord.
Yeah, I meant to pull that up. I'll pull it up in a second.
Because I think the battle inventory is a very interesting idea for travel and PvE, which they've been saying it will be a part of it. Is like moving items across the map will be part of something down the road. I mean, it's been kind of vague, but we know that will be part of it.
Almost like a dungeon crawler type thing where you can
Right.
only go into a dungeon with a certain amount of inventory.
Yeah, and you know, I'm still curious on. I think that still remains to be seen. I think they're still kind of being vague with these answers, you know, saying yes, it might be something down the road.
Yeah. Oh, that's not the one I wanted to screenshot.
He
Actually,
does say it's not guaranteed you'll get it back for each fight. So does that imply that a thief could steal your items? Was that anywhere in the skill tree?
I don't think any of the thief things said that. Maddie, you read them more closely than I do.
Well, I didn't read this one that closely because I don't know if you guys know or not. I'm going to be part of a competition on Thursday night.
Ooh.
No promoting other pods in the middle.
I know, no promoting other pods.
We'll do that at the end.
But no, from what I saw, and at least from Sabotage only messes with the budget, which is it's going to be some amount of stone. So stone is like the term that they used for like the weight and carrying stuff. So your battle inventory will be like you have a total of 30 stone, but your budget is going to be like 10 stone per battle. And Sabotage just messes with that budget, not necessarily with the actual items, as far as I can tell. I don't know. I didn't really get into that detailed about each of the moves, so I don't know if there's any moves that are like still an item, but Sabotage at least only touches the budget.
You know, we talked about all this like once you got on the pod. It was like the first thing we all.
No comment.
How to tell when the host isn't listening.
Well, he's not technically hosting tonight. It's a weird dynamic. I don't love it. I don't love it.
I like it. I like Franz asking me questions. Let's do that more.
Yeah, no. We'll flip that back. No, but so he does say here, for drawing out things like tournaments, dungeons, managing your budget will be important. Not guarantee you're going to get it all back. Maybe that does mean Ninja. We see it. But there was another one here that was more interesting, I thought. So, health and mana loss carryover. Something they're definitely planning for dungeons. That makes sense. But the idea of PvP tournaments down the road, where you might need to be using more of that inventory in between matches. I thought that was a cool concept.
That is very interesting.
You know, and how much of that's lip service? Like, yeah, we're going to do it down the road, and how much is it something that maybe they're actually like closely planning right now? Who knows? But you know, I think they have the capacity to make some really cool things with this inventory system. It added to the complexity.
I like it a lot. I think it's fun. And yeah, I mean, I think also too, I think it'll, a lot of it will depend on the meta in terms of how often are you poisoned? How often are you blinded? You know, do you need those potions? Do you think, I mean, especially the ones that are like swiftness and toughness, we don't really know what they do. We can kind of assume it'll boost our stats.
Right.
But like, again, I don't know if those are going to be the same way. Sorry.
The thing that we were saying, this was right before you got on, was that the idea that each of these items is going to have a different weight, and that's pretty good balancing mechanism, right? Like, I'm assuming the more specific things, like the anti-blindness the speed potions will be a lot lighter, and you'll be more incentivized to take those. Whereas that full health potion that you mentioned, maybe that does take up half your inventory, right?
Well, it at least in the Alchemist, it's 4 health vials to make 1 full health vial. So I have to assume, I don't know, 4 to 1. I don't know if they're going to keep that ratio, but it's going to be significantly heavier, right? Or I don't know. I guess that's the right way to name it. It's going to be more stones to carry that full health potion rather than just like the health vial.
Should be interesting.
Which will be fun. I think it'll be very fun. Also, too, that they can adjust that. I think it'll be very interesting. And then also down the road, maybe power-ups, or because I think that's something that wouldn't be too broken if you had a power-up that maybe gave you like a small percentage, like stone discount,
Or
that's
if it's a
interesting.
hero skill.
Or a hero skill, yeah.
A hero skill related to the bag?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Who would it would have to be on tankier heroes, right? The idea they can carry more.
The heavy guy, paladin.
I would expect to see it in a warrior.
Dragoon.
Although,
or a warrior,
Yeah, I mean, I guess stuff like that could be added to classes we've already seen down the line. That's cool. I don't love the power-up thing because I feel like it's bridging on pay-to-play. And I know all this is pay-to-play. Like, it's crypto. That's what it is. But
I think it's interesting, too, did you screenshot the question he answered to mine, that Workhorse answered?
I only screenshot my own stuff, but I can go.
No, I asked him, are those going to be flat numbers? The inventory and the budget, and he said for right now, yes. Versus, if your crew, if your team has higher strength, will you maybe get more inventory or something like that? And he said they thought about doing that, and they might play around with that down the road. I think that's something they could definitely do for PvE. Of like, if you have a team that's like beefy guys that can carry more, you'll have more capacity.
That's interesting.
Right.
I'm not finding it. If you can pull it up, it's actually nothing's coming up when I search your name.
Yeah, it was today. It was a little earlier this afternoon.
No, but
that could be super far down the line in PvE. But imagine having like a caravan. Where the whole point of a couple of these heroes is just to be the bag holders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the other thing. The idea of if you go into a dungeon, right? This battle inventory, is that where you're putting your loot that you find along the way?
Ooh.
Are you going to want to go in kind of empty, or with the idea of, hey, I'll use some health potions and, replace it with the gold spear of,
and then you can get into like travel time and travel speed and how much you're holding versus how fast can you move. If there's some kind of monster mechanic, quote unquote, chasing you, or if there's a PvP element that people could capture you in the dungeon or whatever and steal your loot, that would be cool.
Well, and also too, I think the weird curveball in this is like blockchain, because potentially the PvE dungeons will, it's the same as combat. It turns on when you enter. Everything happens, and at the end it turns off, and it gets written onto the blockchain. So does the loot happen? Where does the loot happen in that process? It's kind of interesting idea.
Okay.
And then that's not really like a single transaction thing at that point too, where it's like, is that even possible in the coding elements? To Worm's point, like, can you actually take someone's tokens?
Yeah, I put that up twice. I meant to comment on it twice, but the combo was flowing. So But like that's their ERC20 tokens, so it's I mean, the game could make the mechanic where it's just sending it from one wallet to another, but like, yeah.
Do you want to give the game the right to do that at the same time
too? I'm too bright. I'm taking a break. Hold on, I'll be back. I'm too bright. I get the brightness right on my face.
Make sure you mute it out when you hop away.
What do you got? One of those like
he did not mute out. We're gonna hear him through this entire fiasco.
All right. Well, what were you saying though, guy?
I don't think I would want to sign a contract where DFK has quote unquote access to my inventory.
I think they do every contract you sign.
Yeah, you know what I mean though, of like it's different versus like me consuming an item versus having all my inventory theoretically at risk.
I don't know. I feel like that's not like a real, like that's anytime we use
the same.
anything.
That didn't change anything.
Oh my god. Nobody cares.
That didn't change anything.
You look great.
That's all that matters. Just
We've
don't look
been
into the light.
We've been ignoring chat though. We've got a few good comments in here. Buying a bigger trunk. I think that's why I was kind of like upset when he said a while back that travel you would just use your full inventory.
Right.
Like I want those decisions, but if we're making those decisions in dungeons instead, I'm okay with that. You know.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see a lot of PvP stuff, or like in the PvP. I think it's going to be very stripped down. Here's your inventory. Here's your budget. I think there's a whole lot of stuff to talk about with PvE and travel that I hope we see some similarities, but I think it'll be a little different. You know.
Similarities between what?
Like I think like a PvE interactions with the inventory being different during PvE than during PvP. You know.
Okay.
Like
I think the strategies will be different, but you're saying like the mechanics being
well,
different?
I'm saying
like
so if you have a budget every battle, how does that work during a PvE if there's like tiered kind of like stages to a boss? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Does your budget re-up every time? And if it does, by how much? If you didn't use it in the first round, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, they can easily make like a kind of break in the action where you're allowed to go back to your inventory type of deal.
Well, and then also too though, and I'm curious on how this works in terms of if you have multiple teams going at once in the PvP. What is the interaction between your battle inventory and like your inventory? I mean, do you have one set battle inventory that is the same and you can only have that one, or can you have multiple pages of them that are different for depending on what PvP team you're taking into a fight?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I would guess that you'd probably, before you kind of initiate that battle, it's like the same way we pick our duels lineup, right?
Right.
I think you're picking the lineup and the inventory right then.
Yeah, so exactly. But I mean, that's an interesting idea of like
loadouts would be nice, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a team that's designed for one thing, you know, your fast ninja thief team, you want more of those swiftness potions. Where your like tanky paladin team, you probably don't even want to bring any. You know, I mean, in the inventory because it's never going to be advantageous to use it. So I think that'll be very cool, and I hope the team. I think they do. They'll have a cool plan of like how that works out and visually and like the UI, because I think that'll be super fun just building that. You know, not even pre-battle. It's just like setting up what you want to do.
Yeah, you're getting called out in the chat for duels, by the way.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I mean, I hope you get joy from that. You know, that's all I hope.
Yeah. No, there's a lot. There's a lot with the inventory. I feel like we can keep going on this, but like just to move things along a little, anything with the thief.
Let's keep talking about inventory.
Okay, I was gonna go on to the thief.
We actually had a pretty good agenda. Franz and I were wondering if we had enough, and it's been 28 minutes, and all we've done is talk through the first agenda piece.
All right, fair enough.
Well, and we had Maddie's lighting thing. There were a lot of events that took place here, you know?
Shout out Ogres in the chat, and then I do want to talk about this Wowie comment, and then we'll move on to some other stuff, but...
what is this?
Gaining items during the PvE, I think, will be very interesting. But also, too, like we talked about this, too, of like the making a choice of like picking up loot or dropping a health potion. You know, like you have to make those choices.
To me, that's one of the most fun part of dungeons, right?
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Is those choices. So I would hope it doesn't go right into your main inventory. You know, could see, though.
That is interesting. I'm very curious.
I think you have to manage it during the...
I'm curious on how the team works out setting your battle inventories and how that interacts with your main inventory. I think that'll be fun.
I think it would be before you go into a dungeon.
Yeah. But I like that's theory crafting that I love to do. Like I would just sit and set those. You know, I could do that forever.
We were saying also before the idea that like this is a small community right now at least, and we kind of through Fight Club at least know tendencies and like good heroes of other players. If you know someone has a poison strategy, when you're in a tournament, you're taking those poison potions out of your inventory into your budget.
That's a good point.
Right? So preparing that way, and then maybe they use another hero because they know that you know about that thief. You know, it's crazy, and that's the fun part about video games. So
well, and blockchain specifically because and this
we could see it all.
You could see it all. Yeah, and this happened. We talked about this about Gods Unchained. So Gods Unchained, people had to start changing their usernames because you would get into a battle against somebody, you'd see their username, and then you could just search on the blockchain for whatever deck they're using because it's all on the blockchain. And so I think it's very interesting on how they're going to figure out sort of like masking, quote unquote, you know, because hypothetically, what items your opponent has is information you might be able to figure out before the battle.
I think that should be clear on the UI.
I mean, I don't know. I think that's interesting to think, like, if you see your opponent has a ton of swiftness potions prior to the battle, you know that they're going to be a fast team. Like, that's what they're going for. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. You're right, but
maybe they're a slow team.
They'll be seeing it at the same time as you, so hypothetically, it's not an advantage. It's just everybody sees that, you know. But I think that'll be fun. That's fun interactions no matter what.
It would be fun to have some kind of draft mechanic too. And Franz and I were talking about before you hopped on, Maddie, of like,
how long are you guys
going into a tournament? You might know, like who, if it's a 3v3 tournament, if you're only allowed to stake 3 heroes into the tournament, you can create that counter build strategy.
Right.
But it would be neat to have 6 heroes in a 3-man tournament and then some kind of like selection period. And then maybe you could even do a selection period for your items as well.
Oh, that'd be super fun. Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah, put a timer on it, make it a little fast paced.
I do a quick comment here from Ogre that I thought was interesting. Just going back to kind of what we were saying of like, the items are not going to be stolen. They're not going to actually. These are what are the ERC 20s, right? Like all the items.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
They're not going to.
But if they did, we're talking about low stakes as like a health potion. You know, we're not talking about stealing potential like dragon equipment that you get down the line. You know.
What's a health potion right now? Like 1 crystal? Not even.
If I had to guess, a health vial 1.5.
So
a full health closer to 5.
Really?
I could be totally off. I looked at it a while back. I don't know. Guy, are you gonna look or?
What are we talking about?
What's not even paying attention? I knew it before because he just repeated something we were saying. Are you playing that game?
No, I was actually. It's neat. I've got in a separate window. I've got my dual screen. So I thought I would
put that up
on.
That's more entertaining. Put that up.
And it's I don't know why it went to a completely different screen. Because
all right. But anyway, final point on that, and then we can move on. I think, we're talking about health vials that are like 6 cents. I mean, I still think, it's value, and I don't think the team wants people losing that. You know, I think they're trying to avoid people straight up losing tokens.
Well, if the thief codex is any indication, you're right.
Yeah.
You know, we're theory crafting in a way that. You know, so far we haven't been led down that path. But as far as Thief goes, like I'm excited about the poison build, big time.
Yeah,
I have a double toxic legendary Thief. Only won the game, no big deal. But I'm very excited about it. I'm gonna be filling it all through the savvy path.
So I will say I didn't comb over the Thief as thoroughly as I usually do. But from what I saw, it looks interesting. I also want to call bullshit to Workhorse. So
calling him out.
Workhorse and I talked to Wowie about this earlier too. I know Wowie's in the chat. So he said he wanted to, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, like the wizard being 10 in terms of complexity. And I do want to talk about this a little bit later down the road. He said that the thief is like between 5 and 6. I think that's bullshit. Okay, introducing sabotage as an entire new term. Well, like there's some complexity here that, like, we don't even know how the battle inventory system is going to work.
But think of that compared to the seer or the wizard.
No, I'm saying it's like, seer and wizard are like 9 and 10. I think thief is like a 7 or 8. I mean,
I'll defend my boy Workhorse since you're coming at him at a time where he can't defend himself. You put Wowie into it to like defend against yourself. There,
because Wowie agreed it was like a 5 to 7 or whatever.
I'm just saying. But anyway, I thought the thief was very easy to understand. The sabotage mechanic, while it's very cool, it's not like super complex. Whereas some of the stuff with Arcane and some of the paragraphs on Wizard, I'll be honest, I didn't read the whole Wizard.
No, fair.
And I have a good Wizard. But I'm going to want to play that. I have to learn it at some point.
Think of it from a playability concept of, like, if you're sabotaging someone, it's you click A and B is the outcome. Whereas Wizard and Seer, it's more convoluted with that. There's more combinations and nuances of things you need to be aware of.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought he's got a lot of weird moves, and he's got moves that are like deal 0 damage but sabotage. And I'm like, that I don't know how to rank that in my mind because I don't know exactly how sabotage is going to work out, you know, and I think that's complicated. because that could be a very powerful move, even though it does 0 damage. You know.
Well,
Right.
but this is something that I've been saying for a while, and I'm definitely not the only person saying it, so I don't want to sound like that. But until those X's get filled out,
Right.
where we don't really know anything, you know?
No, and I think, and if you listen to the WoWy streams, he says that all the time. It's like the number one thing he says is like, this ranking is very much dependent on what these X's end up being.
Right.
I hope this can we segue? I'm going off the agenda list. Can I go off the agenda list?
You know, it's a living, breathing document, man. We can.
I do want to segue into the conversation that's been happening on PvP Discord about game complexity and kind of complication.
Ooh, okay.
Because it's been kind of a debate because this thing that went viral within our community, quote unquote viral, from Slow Mad. Do you guys know who this guy is?
I've seen him on Twitter. He talks price a lot.
I think he's on Twitter more, and he made a comment that was kind of like I said, went viral within our community. That said the game is too complicated, and people are going to be turned away because of that. They're not going to want to play because you're creating a system that's like way too hard to follow, and we're not going to be able to get gamers. Gamers are not going to be interested, and like a ton of people, myself. Wowie, I think even Stronghold commented, like a bunch of people commented of like, no way, like that's crazy. Like gamers love complicated shit. Like, and also too, something I said is that, and like you said, France, just now, the team and Wisdom and Workhorse, as much as I got mad at him just then, like they're gonna make it an easy to follow game where it's like click this button and you attack. Like it's going to be simple in sense of like how it works and how the actual gameplay like happens. Yes, there's going to be very complicated formulas and systems happening in the background for these battles to work, and for like the ideal team to be built is going to require a lot of research and stuff like that. But in general, I think the actual gameplay is going to be very simple. Now, that being said, I think people who follow the formulas and like figure out the best way to do it and like read between the lines might have a slight advantage.
Yeah, the people that understand the game at its roots will have an advantage. Yes.
Right, but
playability and mass adoption and scale will come down to UI more than combat mechanics.
God, you said it so much better than I did,
and so much quicker too.
And so much quicker. God damn it,
how
guy.
can I succinct this into just a couple words? But like that's really what it is. Of like, hey, I click this button, it does this thing. All right, this button does more damage than that button, so I'm going to keep doing this button.
Right.
Exactly.
And I compare it to that game Tribal Wars we used to play, where you'd attack another village, and instantly you'd see the outcome. This many dead, this many years survived. But then you click in, and you see how they got to it, right? You're going to want to know and see the formulas, but within a game, within playing a game, if there's a timer on your turn or something, it has to be a little faster paced, a little more intuitive. Definitely. I do want to push back on one thing you said, though.
Okay.
Gamers love complexity. You're making it a black and white, like they love complex things. It's true, but there is a such thing as a game that's too complex. I think that I think Workhorse and them are aware of that, especially because it's been said around the community. I don't think they're going there, but I think that is a thing that exists.
Can you give me an example? I mean, I'm not trying to get a gotcha question there, but I mean, Final Fantasy has some insane character building systems that are wild, and you could spend hours at a time just understanding how it works. And people love those games. It's one of the most popular game series of all time. I mean,
but that's more of a PvE game, right?
Yes,
I think it's more acceptable in a PvE game. When you're going PvP,
I guess that's
and
fair.
Someone just beat you, you need to know exactly why, and you need to understand exactly why. And again, I think they'll tell us all that stuff. But if it's past the kind of place of strategy and being able to like kind of mold it to what we want, then it will be too complex. But I don't think it'll be at that point.
No, I don't think so either. I think that's a very good point. I think for PvP, yeah, I think you're right. Because this has been talked about at length of like some people just want to mash buttons, and that's fine. That's a fine way to enjoy a game,
I'll be taking the Knight class and the Warrior class and doing that.
I mean, and I think that's an option. I think there's going to be builds that are designed for that are going to be very competitive in the meta, at least from what I've seen, on the skills on the skill trees that we've seen. So,
Well, so this actually goes into another point that Guy and I were talking about before the stream.
Before the stream. I thought you said before I got on stream. You keep saying
No.
before. I swear it was like
You
5
missed
minutes
the
late at
pre-show
most.
meeting.
I did
we
miss.
talked about
I
this
missed the pre-show meeting. You're right. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Anyway, no, but the idea that you're gonna probably see different classes more prevalent in different tiers, right? In different ranks.
Right.
Like the seer is a very complex hero. You're probably not going to see it too much at the lower levels. You're going to see more knights. You're going to see more. I don't know. What else do we think is going to be kind of near a 1 or a 2 on that scale?
I mean, archers. I think are pretty straightforward.
Archers.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree, but I don't know necessarily if I think we will see certain classes at certain ranks. I don't know if the complexity of the class builds will define that, though. I think there will be, like, there's a chance we'll see, like, certain, like, weirdnesses at, like, middle levels. Like, there'll be some seer teams at middle levels, but then they get the players themselves start doing too much and then get beat by the straight boring teams. And then those boring teams at the next level lose to some other complicated combination. You know what I mean? I think
they'll all fit into their slots.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know, Guy, this might be too much for while we're talking randomly, but keep going.
I've been wanting to play this though, and shout out, this is the newest, Kingdom Builder partner.
If you want a button masher, this is a button masher.
This game is super fun. I was doing it today during my lunch break / work.
Yeah, we're gonna need to end the stream quick so I can play this.
Yeah.
This looks very good.
But yeah, I think that's a great point of, like, the various, and I think the team has talked about that. They love Riot, they love other kind of competitive PvPs where there is active tiers and stuff like that. So I think they're going to build something where different builds are going to be successful at different levels, and button mashers are going to be successful in certain areas,
Yeah,
Francis, Francis, stop paying attention completely. This is what I said, Guy, this cannot be on the screen right now.
Guy's using the same strategy. He's using that portal to go up over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, it's a simple game.
I mean, it's working. He keeps getting those healths on the way down. All right, I'm taking.
Yeah, this is another 2 minutes.
It's got a minute 45
longer than I thought it would be.
Anyway, so what were we saying?
That's the end of that. I think. I don't think the game is going to be too complex. I think if you want to delve into the formulas, and I think, well, actually, Guy, this is actually a good question in terms of, like, World of Warcraft, because I know, I mean, you're kind of our WoW expert, and I want to ask you a complex question while you're trying to play this game.
Let it fly. See
like,
how much I can multitask.
you were playing WoW, I mean, because I'm sure there were kind of, like, attack formulas and spell formulas, that you may or may not knew about your characters during WoW. I mean, is that something you paid attention to?
So there was an add-on in WoW called it was like DPS meter or something like that.
Right.
That you could legit break down who'd you damage, how much did you damage, what damage did what abilities caused your damage. And there was like kind of like a negative theme around raiding in the sense of people would be DPS whores, if you will, that they would AoE the mobs and not target the right, like, boss or things of that nature.
So basically it was like an optimization scale.
They would look great on the charts, but they didn't help you accomplish your goal at all. Whereas this DPS meter was like, no, we told you to attack monster X and you attacked monster A, B, and C just so you could be on the top of the DPS charts. Which was really interesting.
I mean, it'll be a little bit different in a turn-based game. Hopefully
Correct.
We eventually get to the point where there are multiple teams kind of playing at the same time, type deal. I don't even know how that would work, but yeah, I mean,
you mean of your own?
No, I mean, like, I think, didn't they mention something? It might have been Workhorse's Chaos Cast stream, or maybe it was the stream with Raph. He mentioned going into dungeons with your guild mates.
Oh, right. Like you control one guy, and he talked. I forget who talked about that.
Don't start another game, Guy.
Don't start another one. We will be so distracted. I'm already so distracted. I'm just reading Fran's comment now.
I mean, it was true.
It was true. I saw him stop completely and get mauled.
Hung out in the corner.
Oh, I mean, the point is though, I think WoW is an example of, like, and Guy, I think you'll back me up on this. There were people that paid attention to the numbers and like the details, and there are other people that didn't give a shit and just shot their fun spells when they wanted to, right? And both were successful.
And that's where it's like, are you playing casually or are you trying to be in the top tier progression A1 alpha group?
Yeah.
Well, that's the one we're trying to be in.
I'm trying to be in that one. Yeah.
I know what this group's going for, but just in general.
A few comments that I think were good. Vibes, game nerds building a super nerdy game is so fucking bullish.
I mean,
and I think that's, I hear the games that Bolin and Workhorse and all them, talk about, and it's games that I like or games that I respect, right? So
yeah,
I think they come from a good pedgree as far as this stuff is concerned. And then from WoWie, kind of refuting my point, but I agree with it, right? Once we get once we solve for X, like it's algebra class, then it'll make a lot more sense. But then, yes, once we put our hands on it, that's going to be
Well, and that was is this part of the agenda? Is talking about their AMA, the wisdom one?
No, we forgot all of that.
One of the little tidbits from that was that there's a possibility. And I don't want to make any promises because they were very vague about it, like very vague. When they were
promise from you. I mean, the community will take that and run with it.
100%. Yeah. Matty Pest said it, so therefore it's true.
He's a lawyer. Did you know that?
There is a chance that there'll be a very stripped down, boring, trash, early.
All right. Well, don't shit on it too much.
This is what they said. These are their words. Early alpha that we will be able to play.
It's gonna be great.
But they shit on it themselves, being like, "Don't have your hopes up. Like it's nothing."
And that's gonna be a big thing, and it's gonna be a thing that I think is gonna be very frustrating for all of us as a community, because people outside of the community will see this. They will not know that context. They will shit on it, and it's gonna make all of us very angry. So prepare yourselves mentally and emotionally for that.
Maybe we should start it right now. We will talk to all the other streamers, and we'll have a pact not to show it. Should we do that?
Wait, is this like released access or like?
Yeah.
Are we the only ones getting it?
No. I bet all the streamers will get it. It's gonna be hard to stop WoWie from showing it. I'm sure WoWie's gonna want to show it on his Twitch. But if we could convince all the streamers to keep it secret, and we only play it amongst ourselves, do you think that'd be more beneficial than showing it?
Well, wait, hold on. Is it just the streamers or just select group that's gonna get this alpha? I thought it was everyone's getting it.
They were like, you have to apply and get it, and there was like 100 people on the stream.
Oh.
So okay. I mean, like it'll be all the names even if they're streamers or not,
Okay. Interesting. I understood it a different way.
I think they're gonna give it out to people that are playing, that are not playing.
So I got to talk more in PvP chat, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean.
Could I say I know Matty P and WoWie, and would that get me in?
That might get you places.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know those guys though?
I mean, pretty well.
I mean, he just showed a couple of clips of Hubert responding directly to his question.
True. Me and my buddy Yubi. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think we need to worry about it. The naysayers are going to be the naysayers, but it's going to be early pre-alpha stuff, and
yeah, I mean,
it's gonna be fun to be able to look at the game and start seeing what's being done.
I think even if it's a stripped down trash alpha is what they said. Again, I'm only quoting them. I'm not okay. We lost France, but I think even then, I think it's still gonna be fun. I think it's still gonna look really cool, and I think even showing it, I don't think it's gonna be negative because I think it's gonna be good shit. I think the core of it, of what it's like trying to show us, is gonna still come through. So.
Right. And it's like you need more eyeballs, you need beta testers to be able to accelerate the development process. But there is a fine line, and that's what they're dancing with. Of, do we have enough to be able to show people? And then once we have enough to be able to show people, then we can then accelerate the development through getting more player feedback.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to find the bugs, right?
Yep.
No. Yeah.
It's just by the more people that play it. So, and there will be bugs, and there'll be some shitty things, and there'll be some times where you lose where you don't think you should. But that's the cutting edge of Web3 here.
You're just predicting your matches personally?
Oh, I'm gonna be very loud about when when I get screwed by the game. I'll be adding Workhorse on Discord and Twitter to make sure that he sees it. No, but in a fun way.
I think I think there's a lot of comments in chat right now that I agree with, and I think I don't know. I gotta phrase this the right way. I think everyone in the community who like is already into the game and already is into it, like, is going to be respectful of like whatever alpha they let us play. I am nervous about outsiders seeing that. I know that, and that's a weird thing, but like it does need to get out there, and like because I'm very excited to kind of show it off because I think it's gonna be super cool. But also I am nervous about outsiders looking in on this kind of like, you know, like I said, like pre-trip down alpha that they give us, you know.
At this point, like, has there anything not been said from outsiders that are still salty from
True.
the last bull run, things like that? Like, this is a battle-hardened community at this point, in my eyes.
Yeah.
Even though it might not feel that way being in the community sometimes.
No, I think, yeah.
But no, I think what they put together is going to be good. I have confidence in it, and it'll get better and better as they go. Like they said, this is like 1/100th of the game that they're looking to put out. Like, this isn't. They're not going to release this and pop some champagne, right?
No.
They're going to keep working, so I think it should be good.
All right. Yes, I was going to bring up more comments, but chat, I agree with everything chat is saying. Everybody's perfect and amazing. I love all of you. All right. Thief. Did you guys have more comments on Thief?
No, just the poison route that I thought it was interesting. I said no, and then I actually have a few things. I thought it's interesting that agility isn't more represented on the codex. I have a theory as to why, and I think it's a theory a lot of people have, that it's going to be so heavy in the evasion formula that like it would be kind of too much to have it in there too. But I have a lot of thieves that are not critted for dex enough.
Oh, yeah.
I went a lot of luck vit agi or luck strength agi.
I did the same.
I only took a brief look at it. I didn't look too in depth, but it looked like everything had degree of difficulty.
Well, isn't that what they said, that now anything either has mana or degree of difficulty?
Yeah, there'll be some sort of combination. Okay. That'll be part of the cost of like everything. But high dex combats that very well. So, you know, exactly what you're saying. It's like you kind of regret not putting dex as a priority for the thieves, which is interesting.
Do you even need dex if you're just going to steal dex from other players?
Well, I mean, it's about min-maxing, right?
Yeah, but also, too, like, if there is degree of difficulty, no matter what, dex is good for that. You know what I mean? Like, it's sort of like...
Could you review for our listeners what degree of difficulty? I know what it is in theory, but how does dex play into it?
Right, so degree of difficulty affects the evasion versus accuracy. So when you make an attack, you have your accuracy score. Degree of difficulty will minus on your accuracy. And that's based on your dex versus their evasion. Yeah. Which is based on agility for the most part, but also might have some luck. We don't know the formulas fully for that. But basically, it's in an essence, there's a lot of other little formulas.
Get this off the screen, guy.
Yeah, don't show me that. Is that Thief? I can't see that.
Oh, sorry.
Wowie, good shout out in the...
But basically...
Wow, can't wait till Justice...
Maddie, close your eyes. I'm just going to go on another tab.
Right, I'm not looking. It's fine.
No, it's still up.
Well,
but basically,
only Thief, right?
Your dex is the accuracy versus their evasion for every attack. And every time you do it, there's
and the block rolls into that as well, or the block roll is separate?
It's a separate roll.
Separate roll.
Yeah.
So it's accuracy versus evasion. Okay.
Then block after that. Yeah.
Got it.
But so DOD is like a minus to your accuracy every time automatically. Versus if it has no DOD and if your accuracy is awesome, it's going to almost hit every time. Well, I shouldn't say that. Versus their evasion. But
well, get those double foresight heroes.
I know. Yeah, that's why double foresight is so great. And so and just basically I think Dex is, and because they've said now Dex is and Wowie, correct me on this, Dex is like 40% of the magic attacks as well. for accuracy, which they call focus. It might be 60. It's 60% wisdom, 40%
Don't
dex.
get bogged down in the details. Just you were rolling.
So basically, like, dex is going to be important for everybody, for everybody's accuracy across the board, magic or physical. You need dex, and that's just end of story. And if there's DoD, it makes it. Well, I don't know which way though. Which way 60-40? I know it's 60-40. I don't know which one's which. But DoD just slow anybody with a DoD slows down that accuracy a tiny bit.
Yeah, it makes it's difficult to varying degrees. Yeah, I think something that we might see when I'm excited for the advanced classes to come out, because I think they might look way overpowered when you just look at them with the X's, but I think they're going to be a lot of higher DoD type moves. Well,
I mean, that was like a warrior. Warrior has a ton of DoD moves that I think are going to be pretty high, because there's one that's like execute, literally.
Warrior's good at dex too, you know.
And he has decent dex, so but also if you don't focus on dex for a warrior, that could be really detrimental, you know. Mm-hmm. And it's very easy not to. It's sort of a middle of the road thing for him.
Which comes back to something else that we were talking about. What percentage of the heroes that we own today are going to be the heroes we want post PvP?
Okay, all right. So this is a great question, and this is a Franz crafted this question.
Guys stole my
Franz crafted this. I want to hear, because I'm very curious on this, and this is a bigger topic in terms of level cap, in terms of when is PvP happening? Should we even be looking at our heroes right now as PvP heroes, or is it so far away that it doesn't even matter?
No. It's not so far away that it doesn't matter. But my point was more, your best heroes today aren't going to be good heroes tomorrow. As we get more Gen Zeros and more other heroes to level 10 plus and are summoning with those, they're going to have more buffs on them. Mm-hmm. It's going to get, like, I dark summoned 2 legendary archers the other day and used a greater dex crystal. They got the 2 level 10 boosts and then greater crystals all the way up, and it's slated to be the highest dex score in the game. Someone's going to come around in a month and do that same thing, and they're going to, with level 20s maybe, right? And then they're going to have the highest dex archer in the game.
Well as how many heroes are being used with regular stones, let alone greater stones upon summoning too?
I'm sure it's a small percentage. That's a
Not
stat
many.
We can look up, but yeah.
I mean,
and you gotta assume once we see level 10 profession quests and then level 20 profession quests, that these
Hold
stones...
on, I don't want to talk about 3 years in the future. I can't talk about that right now.
Let's get level 10 out first, but go on.
But there's going to be a point where these greater stones are just embedded into the inventory and into the ecosystem. They're not such a high rarity level like they are right now.
And then we'll get ultimate stones.
How do we get them right now? There's very few ways to get them.
Raffles? Is that it?
That's it right now,
and
right?
Gen Zero rerolls, which is kind of a special
I think
event.
that's dead. Aren't those dead? Like, there's none currently, right?
Not currently, no. Until the next expansion.
Did you just win like 6 out of 10 of those?
I just hit legendary.
Nice. Go claim your dual reward there. I think you get a greater crystal, greater chaos. Maybe not.
Yeah, it's got to catch up. But
okay.
I get a greater chaos.
Yeah, no, greater I think will still be kind of rare and scarce and expensive, but like it wasn't. I don't know. So I did the math out for it, right? And total, I spent between buying the 2 legendary heroes, all the stones, all the crystals, all the tiers, 2,500 crystal. The top PvP heroes, if I wanted to go buy one right now, is 3,500 crystal at the floor. It's probably closer to like $5,000. For like a legendary. That's a basic class, right? Did you have
any abilities? It
got days. It got days.
Right.
I was trying to get leadership as well. It didn't hit, but
that's still
I'm okay
really
with
solid.
It. Yeah, I'm planning another one.
Highest dex in the game with days. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I'm basically going off the skills, and that kind of brought me to another thing that we had on the agenda there. The idea of rarity / stats versus abilities?
Yeah.
And what would you rather have?
I'm really mixed on this one. I think I'm super pumped about these abilities, and I think abilities can bring you up to par if you have heroes that are like rares, versus legendary. I don't think, even if you have the best set of, the perfect combination of skills in all three of your guys with their subclasses, and you come up with this like weird combo that no one has ever seen, if it's three uncommons, I think it still will lose to legendaries and mythics. Yeah. And well, I don't know. Obviously, we need to see the game. I'm making kind of speculation here, but
we're fucking around.
Hard.
You're fine.
It's hard for me to see commons or uncommons being competitive on their skill trees alone.
Right. So the way that I was kind of thinking about it, as far as and gameplay comes into it, right?
Right.
So as far as me as a gamer, I think I'm good enough that I can, if someone has one ability, like say one advanced ability, one elite ability that's going to go off one time, I like to think I'm a good enough gainer that I can plan around that and kind of like gauge against that. But if someone has the higher rarity and all of their whole skill tree is proccing off of higher stats, that's hard to overcome.
Sure.
Like that's so like I'm always going to take the mythic or the legendary that has good stats over the uncommon that has, even something like Second Life, Second Life's very good, but Giant Killer, things like that,
Yeah, I think with a few exceptions, and I think Archer, Giant Killer with the Archer skill.
I've been looking to build
Giant Slayer.
Giant Slayer and Giant Killer.
I might be switching those. Yeah, an uncommon one of those with a stone on the decks might be able to compete. And won't be a detriment on your team. You know what I mean?
Because that's and for anyone that's not as familiar, that's a build that is essentially adding attack or adding damage in 3 different ways for heroes that are higher HP than you.
Which an uncommon archer, most likely the opponents are going to have higher hit points. So
right.
I think
I
think there's unique. There's super unique uncommons that will be competitive. I think like a pirate with crazy luck, and you go with the path of all luck for that pirate, and he gets that huge bonus for his pirate ability, and you're rolling d20s and you're hitting because he has a plus to his d20s. Right. I mean, like that guy, that pirate uncommon who gets lucky, he might be able to compete at that top level with legendaries and mythics. Now, is he going to be great? No, but like he won't be a detriment to your team. You know what I mean? Like I think if you had just a run of the mill, like say Paladin even, who's a common or an uncommon, I think it's going to weigh down your team. It's not going to be competitive at that top level where guys have, I mean the gold standard is triple Dread Knights, right? And I think, facing triple Dread Knights, if you have an uncommon, you're going to lose.
I don't know. I feel like you just took the argument and made it so broad that I've now stopped agreeing with it, right? And I think that's where the gameplay comes in. And the idea that triple Dread Knights might not be that great, right? Because of all the different things a lot of the classes do. I think you'll still be able to compete. But I just think I look at the skill tree and everything is based off multiples of your stats, right?
Right.
So I'm always going to lean towards the higher stats. With rarity, it doesn't mean that the stats are always going to go in the right spot, right?
Right.
And every 5 levels, you're rolling those dice, and you might get wisdom on your thief every time, But like, I'm still going to take that chance. Rabito had a good point. I didn't want to leave it up because it covers Guy. But the idea of equipment. I mean, equipment will probably be boosting stats as well, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, now we're getting kind of exponential with that.
But that's the point. Excuse me. That's the point, though, of like, is an uncommon hero with a legendary sword going to be competitive with a mythic hero?
Not if it also has a legendary sword.
No, obviously not. But I mean, like, the point is, a mythic hero with, say, a uncommon or even,
well, but
you know.
All right, so that I kind of want to push back on that, just because we're in the crypto space,
Right.
and we all know whales. Are they going to stop with the equipment?
No.
Are they going to be like,
No. Yeah.
I have the good hero, I have the mythic dread, I could just use basic, equipment with him. Guy, what are you doing, by the way?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm doing a would you rather. Would you rather?
You're putting up 2 heroes here? All right.
Yeah. This is probably the worst way. I'm just going to do it in ABFK. You guys keep chatting.
Yeah. Well, but also we can't see right now the skill trees, so it's kind of tough. Because I think that's the thing. That's the thing. I think especially Pirate and Seer are great examples because those skill trees are kind of wild. Seer has some weird ass shit that it can do, and really kind of throws you off. And it doesn't necessarily need great stats, although it becomes better obviously with great stats. But like,
but that comes down to who's driving.
Fair, and that's a good point. And this is the heart of the argument here is can somebody with a team of rare seers compete with a team of mythic commons or mythic basic classes?
Yeah, I think so, definitely.
I don't know.
I'm not. So, and that's where I say you're taking my argument a little too far. I'm not trying to say one.
Do you know me? That's what I'm gonna do.
Other.
I'm gonna take every argument too far. Like that's what I do.
After I said it one time, you might stop on the second time around. But I should have known.
I've got 2 heroes.
What's up, guy?
Worth roughly the same in crystal, and I think it's a good snapshot of like, hey, which path would you rather go down? We've got a wizard scholar, so you've got a main class subclass kind of cohesion
aligned
there.
Yeah, relatively,
but it's a common. And then you have a legionnaire warrior that's legendary. The common's 179, the legendary is 159.
Wait, does the wizard have crazy skills?
Yeah,
because the wizard has explosion and stun.
Yeah, I mean, no, give me the legionnaire every time.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's what I mean. How many
stats? Stun makes this. All right, here's the thing. Stun makes this hero comparable to this one. I think it's comparable.
Right. So I thought the argument you were going to make, because this is what you said when we were talking before, was going to be more based on passives. Because I think with passives,
well, yes, I think
it changes that a little bit.
If this was double legendary, I'd say take the wizard immediately.
Double legendary?
What is
double leadership? Sorry.
Got it. I really like explosion on wizard. We've actually talked through that. Action economy is actually kind of counterpoint to that.
Yes.
But like stun's really interesting in the sense of like
you clicked it immediately. I know.
Oh yeah. You kidding me? If you haven't noticed, chat, if you agreeing with me, best way to get on screen.
But I think there's a lot of situations that I would rather play with this wizard than this legionnaire.
I kind of agree.
I think these abilities, you can look at them as additional stat, like they're comparable to stats on your card.
I don't love explosion. If it was the
let him finish.
Sorry,
yeah,
we never let him talk.
I'm thinking through my thoughts here too. Of hey, fast forward, we're talking level 100. 100% take the legendary legionnaire. If we're talking a tournament with a level 10 cap or a level 20 cap, I think this wizard will do really well.
Well, so you're limiting, and that's a fair, because you're limiting the upside of the rarity then.
Right.
Yeah, sure. Agreed.
I think the elite level traits or genetic, whatever the word we're using for that, stun. What are some of the other ones? What's the other one? Second Wind, Last Stand, and Giant Slayer, right?
Slayer, yeah.
Any one of those. Common is hard because the common stats are going to be so much less, or so much fewer. Excuse me. But if any uncommon or rare with an elite, I think that makes that hero comparable to a legendary or mythic.
So I'll say unless it's, and I think I've warped my own perception of the abilities where I might need to reset and like go back and reread them, because I reread one the other night that I'll get to this, and I was shocked. I did not know what it did. Unless we're talking Giant Slayer, I would take matching basic passives over just about any other abilities. And
that's interesting. Not the elites though. You mean the advanced or?
I
the
mean,
elites
all right,
as well?
all right. Take out Transcendent. Yes, I would like to.
Well, Transcendent.
To have my
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah,
live
I
again.
agree. Yeah.
But right, unless we're talking Giant Slayer, like Last Stand, Stun, all that, I would rather double Foresight on a ninja or a thief. I would rather double Fearless on a tank, and that was the one that I didn't realize.
Fearless. Yeah.
I thought Fear was just like
No.
kind of like what Intimidation does.
No, Fear's intense. Yeah.
Fear is not about not getting pushed.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's just from Fight Club. When I was playing Pouring before the stream, and he had a Knight sub, so he was switching my damn Dark Knight into my midline constantly, and it was so frustrating. The idea that you could stop getting pushed or make it a less chance, so valuable. Not many tanks, Leggy Plus, have double. I've been looking for them.
No, those, and I think too, another comment Wowie had said here, I agree with too.
We got to have him on next week because this is turning into a 4-way conversation.
No. Yeah. Wowie's told me he'll come on whenever, and
we got to do it.
We'll bring him on. Well, I can't bring him on this week because I can't let him hint at any thief.
Well, no, and because
abilities.
How much longer are we gonna go, right?
That's a good point. Yeah. Did you want to stop? Because I was ready to go all night. Anyways, I think double clutch goes under the radar. Double clutch is going to be insane for a few, especially Berserker. Berserker has a skill that's like go to 1 hit point and don't die for a round. And if you have a double clutch Berserker, it's going to be insane. Mm-hmm. And you're right. I think you're right in terms of if you have that right combo, especially those Agi based heroes with double Foresight, like double basic could be better than, I think, certainly than a lot of the advanced. I think like stun, it's hard for me to discount stun. Stun is going to be so powerful in my opinion. So I think but I think it's comparable of like a double basic that works out with the class skills. It might be comparable to some of these elites,
Yeah, I just think when you're doubling up on the passives, it allows you to feed into the strategy that you're going for a lot more. If you're the type of player that's just going to try to get the best heroes and just kind of throw them in there, this is not as important for you. Like go get those fun stun abilities,
Yeah.
But like for me, like I have a game plan, and whether or not it works out and is good, that's what I'm going with, and I want to maximize that game plan. And a double Foresight on a thief with super high agility is going to do that for me. Like you're not going to be able to hit me, and if you can, I'm going to complain to Workhorse a lot and hope that they change that a little bit. So
or you have a Sage with an Archer sub Knight and double Foresight.
A sub Knight?
What did I say? Archer sub.
The Dread Knight's uglier cousin, the sub Knight. Say it again.
Should have gone to the pre-show meeting. I should have gone to the pre-show.
Should have. No, I was too busy trying to correct you there and laugh that I missed your point. Say it again.
No, I was making a joke about one of my favorite heroes is my Sage Archer sub with double Foresight.
Oh, okay.
Rare. So,
nice.
And Daze as a active.
And Confused. Dazed and Confused. Both of them.
It's actually a college themed class that I have. Okay, let's move on.
All right. Yeah. What else we got here?
Oh, let's talk about the tavern. We want to talk about the tavern just a little bit. We don't have to go real in depth on this.
Do you have stuff on this?
You guys wrote a whole ton on it.
Did we hit it all?
We've hit on most of those though.
So we
talked about the tavern.
I see. Stats over. Oh, you wrote this all under tavern. Okay.
Right, like everything we were just talking, and the idea of like what you're looking for on the tavern, what alerts we're setting up, the idea of jobbers and potions that we touched upon earlier.
Yeah. I mean, well, let me just ask in general though, and I do want to talk about this because you mentioned this. You were buying. You're in a buying mode more than a selling mode in terms of those jobber heroes. Those
heroes, yes. I'm in a selling mode with items and anything I summon because 10 and 10s. Like I haven't summoned besides my Gen Zeros in about a month and a half, 2 months. A dark summon here, a dark summon there, just to kind of scratch the itch. But I'm selling everything because I'm gonna get 150, 200 crystal for it, and I'm buying 4 jobbers. I can get 4 of them. Foragers, if I spend a little bit more, I can get archers that are foragers. Not the best forager class, but pretty far up there. And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I'm doing a similar thing. I found one decent. They were commons, but a Dark Knight Paladin match, and I did get one common Dragoon out of it, so I'm already happy about it.
Oh, nice.
But the only other summons I'm doing are and this is actually interesting, is my 2 Gen Zeros, which, as you guys know, both of them are Scholars. But they have 1 matching ability.
There you go.
And it's 60, and no matter what you get, like, they're going to sell for more than 60. And those 10 of 10s, like, it's hard to say, like, I don't care, but, like, I really don't. Like, whatever it is, I'm just like, great, and I'll put it on the market. Even if it's a miss completely, it's a common whatever with no ability, I'll put it on there for 150, 160, and I make double what I, what it cost me to make that. So
absolutely. There's a specific type that I'm saving, because I have it set that my 2 pairs can make bards and shapeshifters with
right,
advanced.
you told me that. Yeah.
Shout out to Sir Worm. He's doing that as well. He gave me the idea.
Mm-hmm.
But so unless I get one of those advanced classes with at least 1 advanced, which I haven't gotten yet,
yeah,
I'm selling them immediately. What are your hero goals from Sergeant Filthy McNasty? I feel like I'm taking his daughter out on a date, and he's saying, "What are your goals?
What are your intentions with my heroes?"
Yeah.
I think. Well, I will say this. I just completed this. I think I told Wowie this. Maybe I didn't. And Wowie, if you're listening, get excited because you're gonna love this shit. He's
more excited to talk to Wowie than to us, guy.
I know.
It's unbelievable.
I'm over it. I'll go back to Battle Showdown.
They're all of them are
No,
rares.
do
not start that again. Do not start that again. All of them are rares, all of them are rares. And I got a double leadership ninja, a double intimidation bard, and then a knight rare with intimidation and leadership. So I have the full triple leadership, triple intimidation team that I'm so pumped to put into PvP.
Just clarifying question here. So it's plus 15 to all of your attack because it's 5 for each of the leadership.
Correct.
And minus 15 to their attack or defense?
When they attack me, it's minus 15%.
No. I just didn't know if it was stacking like it's their
come on.
Defense,
Yeah, see? Look at this. Come on. I'm excited when he says that. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's a full team of, and I think it's depending on Bard, I don't know Bard yet, but I feel like it's a pretty balanced team in terms of the ninja will be my damage guy, the Bard will be the support, hopefully heal. We'll see with Bard, he might not have heals, and then the knight being the tank in the front.
I kind of want him to have heal.
I hope he does. I think he would. It makes sense.
Maybe a little bit of heal.
So for that to be one of the tracks for the Bard to be like healing, you don't necessarily have to do it. One of the tracks is Trickster, one of the tracks is heal.
Are they healers usually? I don't know. I'm excited.
No, yes, they do. And D&D bards have access to some heals.
All right, fair enough.
I think they do in WoW too. Is that a class in WoW?
Guy?
Bards? No.
Yeah. No?
Bards aren't a class?
No.
Yeah.
Can rogues sing songs?
No. There's no actual lore in WoW.
What are you talking? They've made movies.
Does anyone sing songs?
They've made movies, yeah.
Does anyone sing
as
songs?
far as like the classes go, I don't think there's a bard. I mean, there might be like expansions old.
Sure, yeah.
Last one was
the OGs.
Pandaria.
There were no bards.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I was into Warcraft before it became an MMO. When it was.
Oh yeah, you played the real time strategy.
That's the real OG.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That and StarCraft. Those
Did you play StarCraft? You didn't play StarCraft.
Oh, I played StarCraft. I'd mess you up with the Zerg.
You any good?
The Zerg, is that what it's called? No, I'm not.
Don't ask. No, come on. You know what it is. You don't need to say that.
Kerrigan? Yeah, great. No, I was not good. But anything else in the tavern besides buy jobbers?
I'm trying really hard to stay to 100 heroes. And I'm like at a point where it's like, all right,
is that a mental barrier? Why is that?
DFK helper for one.
Okay.
Same. I'm at like 90 right now.
Yeah. So it's like, but I'm at that point where it's like, all right, do I just go to 200? And I'm like,
Wait, those are the only options?
Well, so once you bleed over 100, it's like you're not, because right now I'm summoning and then just flipping, but like I feel silly selling heroes at floor value because I think all heroes will have some level of utility, especially as item economy, and we talk about that circle of like PvP consumption of items really goes into play. I think that'll be huge. But like kind of what I've been going for is I've been trying to quote unquote level up my heroes through dark summoning the last couple of weeks. That's actually been a lot of fun.
Okay.
Interesting.
Of going for the rarity plus the abilities, taking our conversation that we just went through, and it's like, all right, would I rather an uncommon or a legendary? An uncommon with an advanced or an elite, or a legendary with no skills? Well, I'd rather a rare or legendary with advanced skills.
Interesting. So that's what you've been doing?
So that's what I've been doing the last couple weeks, as well as like, hey, how do I sell some of my heroes or get some kind of value to them and decrease my number of hero count? Dark summoning is pretty effective for that.
Yeah. And are you doing it with high levels where you're getting to level them up immediately?
I was gonna say, are you happy with the results? You don't have to tell us what it was, but
for
are
the
you
most
happy?
part, I've been good. I mean, it helps when your first 2 dark summons are upgrading a sage from a common to a rare, or a common to an uncommon, which is great.
It's great.
So that definitely helped. But then I like my 3rd ever advanced hero. You guys remember I got like my legendary monk early days.
I love that.
One of the
legendary story amongst us.
You could have sold it for like $4 or $5 grand. Yeah, that one. Got it.
Yeah, that one exactly.
Yeah.
But one of the heroes I summoned shortly after that was one of my first advanced heroes that I got, an uncommon ninja. That back when we were looking at ADFK, advanced abilities were just like a line and code of like unknown advanced one.
Yeah.
So I've had an uncommon ninja for a very long time that I threw into the pit and got an uncommon pirate out of it or something like that, which sucked.
Brutal.
But it was level whatever 10 plus.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So it was like instantly level 9 or whatever based on what the math was of who I threw on with it.
The one thing about that I don't like, and why I've been doing it very specifically, where like it's a big move to do it, is you lose all of the professional stat. So if you had I like right now, like level 10 quests come out tomorrow, right? Do you think it'd be better in the immediate future to have that, higher rarity good ninja that's like on par with their profession, like a fishing ninja? Or to have, a fishing wizard that's not very good, but has 20 fishing skill. I think you're going to make more off the skill.
I got to jump in and say, I think very quickly you could get to level 10, especially on the bot. Like, I don't think that shouldn't be a concern,
No, I get
maybe
what
not.
you're
It's like a
saying
3-4 month
So
process.
the heroes I'm burning have a very high profession skill that's getting dropped, even though the new heroes I'm getting are level 9 or level 10. Right. I do agree with you. There's quote unquote lost value there. And something else I see
it with mining. That's the only one that I really notice it with.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of the heroes I'm tossing in are mismatched professions. So like there's that aspect of it too, and I'm not like super worried about losing any of these guys. But also I've been like, the last couple of weeks has kind of been nice of like, I've kind of walked away from like, I need every single transaction to increase my total crystal count. Of like, I've been so obsessed with that the last.
Wait, say it again.
Yeah, say it again. You got cut out.
Like right when you said the key line there.
Yeah, so I've been so obsessed with maxing out my crystal count in every single transaction. In the last like month or two, I've just been like, I've been playing the game rather than like min-maxing. And it's been a lot more enjoyable. Going for things that might be a little more high risk, like dark summoning and things of that nature. Knowing that, like, I mean, crystals.
Wait. You mean like you're going for like you're burning higher advanced classes,
right?
I'm
taking a legendary monk and throwing it in with an uncommon sage, trying to go for a rare sage, and that's not something.
I think that's crazy, and Franz, I don't know your opinion on it, but like that we are in the community the most conservative on this. Like you saying you're going for it, like
Right.
like you talk to Tad, talk to Mythic Squad. They do this on a daily,
Right.
you know. Like we are all the three of us are very even though we are degens still, we're like conservative degens compared to these other guys. Like they're doing shit like that all the time, you know.
No, wait, but I think, Guy, were you saying more with like when you're talking about EV?
Yeah,
Or-
so it's like the EV might be there, or it's like, hey, you know, I get a 70% chance of having a losing transaction here, but there's a 10% chance or a 20% chance I hit it out of the park too. And like, you know, if it's a losing transaction, I'm not doing that every single day. But I'm sprinkling them in and just changing my strat a little bit.
I want to bring on some of the fucking degens from Mythic Squad right now. to hear you say this, they would get so mad at you because you're like, I love that your approach is so like, you're taking such a conservative, like logical, like I know it's not the best investment, but I am making a decision that I find that might be in my best interest here at this situation. These motherfuckers do it every day.
All right. Well, but leave him alone about that. I think he's making an important point, right? That it gets a little bit more fun when you're not writing every single transaction into a ledger, into a Google Sheet.
I stopped tracking my DFK Google Sheet like 3 weeks ago, and that's probably like mind blowing to the two of you guys.
Yeah,
I mean, yes,
you lived in that thing for.
I know
quite a while.
you love your spreadsheets.
Yeah. So it's, but I mean, it's been a lot more fun and just enjoying the game, which is
100%
playing it more like a game.
Right.
It's interesting.
Very interesting.
I'm still laughing at Maddie doing the Poindexter thing.
Well, I mean, if this
the voice was very good. Yeah.
It's glasses.
Oh, okay.
All right. Oh wait, last thing. I mean, we played it and we showed it, but did we talk about this game?
I talked about it a little bit, that it's a Kingdom Builder partner.
Yes.
They have a DFK character added into it.
Two of them.
What's the second one? I've seen the blood everyone's using.
The spell blub.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
They made it green.
I mean, I think I assume these are just second best dad works, you know, in action.
Well, I actually listened to the I don't know.
Oh, the AMA, yeah.
Yeah, the AMA, which was good. And they talked about like, how do you just pick one monk or one Dread Knight to represent DFK? Sure. And so, of course, Second Best Dad got involved and they started whiteboarding it. And then he just he sketched a bloater together with a Dread Knight, and the thing's amazing.
The Dread Bloater or Bloater Dread or whatever it's called. Oh, Dread Bloater, it's right there.
Dread Bloater.
It is iconic, and I think it's like really cool.
Oh, it's super fun.
Like I'm glad seeing it make an appearance in another game is a very cool thing. Also, guys, some feedback from someone that lives a little bit more on the edge.
Yeah, that certainly keeps things in perspective, right?
No, we're coming down hard on you, but I like it.
Overall. No, I'm the same way. I get I don't like burning stuff. I really don't. I get anxiety about it. I feel like I'm going to lose an insane amount of money, which is not. I'm not, because you get a hero no matter what. So like, you might lose a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
you gotta risk the biscuit to. What's the saying?
That's it. You gotta risk the biscuit to earn the disket.
The biscuit.
That's how it goes. Biscuit. Yeah, that's a famous saying.
You bet one biscuit, you make one biscuit. So you gotta risk it.
Bet the biscuit to pull in the pot. That's a famous saying.
That was Winston Churchill, I believe.
Well, yeah, no, it wasn't Churchill. I think it was Plato.
Oh, anyways, Plato. Okay, further. Got it.
No, I want to talk about that game because it is very fun, and I'm glad they're adding some kind of stuff you can do in DFK. It's fun. It's like a goofy. It reminds me of Flash games, honestly, but it's like
Smash
PvP.
Bros.
Yeah, it's like I played it a couple times today. I won one. Like I got one where like I won the whole thing. I was very happy. But like most of the time I got smoked. Most of the time I got smoked.
You know what it reminds me of? Have you guys ever played the mobile game? It's called Zuba.
No.
It's like a zoo animal, like themed battle royale. It's like flat. I don't know what you would call it. Like it's an overhead view and like this map.
Oh.
So it's different than this.
Interesting.
But I don't know. I'm getting the same kind of vibes. It's a fun game for like a good 2-3 day stretch. Like you could really play it a lot, and then
You're done with it. Yeah.
There's not too much more to it.
Well, I was gonna say like I played this one.
Not
like I said,
not saying that about this game. Saying that
like
about
my lunch break, I spent like an hour, and I won one, and then I played again. I got smoked, and I was like, ooh.
One thing I'd like to know, what are the crypto influences here, right? Like, is there a coin associated with this? Are there stakes on these games? I'm assuming this is kind of a first pass type of thing where they're just trying to get people to play.
No, but there is like you get like gems and shit when you win.
Yeah.
So there is some sort of like market.
They're going to start creating like a little economy out of here.
Yeah.
They did
like
say
items,
like the
skins.
The motivation of it was like these are all NFT projects. So
they all are from different projects, right? Like everybody.
So it's not just that DFK got a cameo in here. Oh, that's cool.
Each of these are from
Yeah, click the Pepe one, the little red one up there.
Where is he?
Right above
that guy.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Do you?
I enjoy the Pepe memes.
See, it's annoying because like I know some of these are just like profile picture, like
correct. And that's what they said is like a
one.
lot of these don't they wanted to bring utility to people that have NFTs that are just hanging out.
But is it utility because you're not using an actual NFT to play?
Right.
Marketing more than
we're heading down the wrong path here in this conversation, Maddie.
I know, yeah.
I mean,
we're not. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I played it.
Exactly.
I'll play it again.
I'm gonna play some tonight. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Nice
you know what? We should get like a ADFK game because you could do private games. That'd be fun to get like the crew going.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Could do a giveaway based on that.
I think how many players is 8 the max? Yeah.
8 is max. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, there's different backgrounds. I didn't know that. Ooh, fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should get that going.
DFK Castle.
DFK Castle.
So they have one for.
That's
for
the main.
probably.
That's the main where you fight. That's the main one, right?
Oh, is it? Maybe. It's
well, that's just
what
I think DFK is just featured right now, so it's like on the top of the page.
Yeah, very cool. Did we have anything else that we wanted to touch on?
No, I think I wanted to talk about this game, and that was the last thing.
Yeah. Other things. So we talked a lot about some other streams tonight. Check out WoWie every Monday night when a new codex gets released. Check out Mythic Squad tomorrow night. Check them out every week, but especially tonight because your boy Matty Pesk is going to be
2 days.
What did I say? Today's
Today's Tuesday.
Tuesday. Today?
Yeah. Today's Tuesday.
That's wild. Thursday. Check out Matty Pesk on Mythic Squad. Check out Gradient Ogre on Thursday nights. Check out.
Are they going again? That'd be great. Yeah.
I don't actually know. Now I'm just naming things. Check out ADFK on Wednesdays. Check out everything. There's so many more.
I thought aren't you doing a Fight Club?
Oh
thing?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to end with. I forgot to say my own thing. So I'm gonna be doing a little like DFK Fight Club tutorial video tomorrow. We've got some new members. We're putting together actual docs, making us like a real game, so that's fun. Those are coming together, but I'm going to be doing kind of a quick little how-to. Not sure who's going to be joining me on that. Maybe these guys, maybe not. Maybe some other Fight Clubbers.
I should be able to.
Nice. But that'll be a good time tomorrow night, too.
Very cool. And I also will say, I don't know if this is public yet, but...
Alpha Drop. What do we got?
I think I can say it. He might be mad at me, but there might be another panel show this Friday.
Oh.
With Sargent.
Sarge. Is he spilling your beans?
I don't know if he's announced it yet, so... Yeah, there's a panel show Friday.
Right.
But yeah, check out Fight Club video tomorrow, possibly a Adventures in DeFi video tomorrow. I know they want to do a summon night.
We're doing a summon night for sure tomorrow. So, and that's not just a guild thing. Anyone's welcome.
No, that's open.
It's a lot of fun.
Thursday, I'm on with the Mythic Squad. We're gonna fuck around, and I'm gonna show them. I'm gonna show them that I know WoWie better than anyone else in this community.
Well, you cheated, and this video is gonna make it.
I did not cheat. I looked away immediately. I did not see anything.
We could see.
So that'll be Thursday, and then Friday there'll be a.
We're getting drunk with Yorkshire on Friday.
Yeah, exactly.
What is on Friday? You were starting to say something.
No, panel show. Sergeant's
panel show, right?
Sergeant's going to host another panel show, and I believe there might be. Well, I don't even want to spoil it. That I shouldn't say that.
Some of us might have, bedtimes, and Sergeant's show comes on really late, but they enjoy
fine.
watching them the next day. So, shout out to Sarge. You give me something to listen to on Saturdays while I'm doing my dishes or whatever other chore needs to get done. Saturday's a big dishwashing day for me.
That's good.
No, I'm kidding.
When do you do your chores, Guy? When do you do your chores?
When am I not doing chores?
Oh,
he has two kids. His life is chores.
I was going to say, it would be great to not have to do the dishwasher every single night.
The dishwasher?
Run the dishwasher and do the dishes.
That sounds so strenuous.
All right, so let's get our last comments in. Last comments, any final thoughts we have on Thief, on battle inventory, on complexity of the game? What do we got? Final thoughts. Let's hear it. Franz. And Guy?
Give me an all ninja team. That's what I'm going to run with.
I like it. All right. For Franz and for Guy Kid, actually, I didn't host today. Actually, Franz, you have to do the sign off.
And for Guy Kid and for Matty Pesk, this has been Bogside Chats.